It's been ongoing throughout 2024, and it involves Smash JT, who's been on the show several times. And I'll say this about Smash: he has gone through kind of a transformation, I would say. And I'm just gonna say this about you. I feel like I've seen a little bit of this from you as well, where you've kind of like, not, I'm going to use the term woken up, but you've kind of seen the insanity taking place more and more in the video game space. And I feel like that's a more recent occurrence for you. And by recent, I mean in the last, 6 months, 8 months, year, whatever. Whereas Smash was kind of the same way. I don't know. First off, is that something that you feel has happened to you as well over the last year or so?
I think there was just more instances of it being like prevalent, because I actually have a video from like 2018 where I talk about IGN and Kotaku, being somewhat problematic for for the gaming space, and really how platforms like that don't necessarily like YouTubers, and there's no real respect for YouTubers because it's cutting in on their profit margins,
Mm-hmm.
because you have people that are independent creators that can kind of do whatever. But I think there's definitely been more questionable instances that have been gaining steam this year than in any really year past. Like this year, I would say, had more kind of like moments than like the past 5 years did combined.
Yeah, and I agree. It's been more in your face for sure. And I was on a Colin Moriarty show yesterday, which will be released today and tomorrow. I think tomorrow on YouTube, today on their Patreon. And we talked about this at length. Actually, the idea that one thing it's been very obvious to me. There's this great divide between the developers and the people who cover those games, your traditional access media, and then like YouTubers, right? And we see this all the time with statements that are made by developers. We talked about one yesterday where the developer, like he's the lead, the head over at for the new Rivals game, the Marvel Rivals,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, you just don't know how well your game is going to succeed until it comes out. And it's like, no, I mean, we've been able to point to many, many games throughout the year and say, well, that one's going to work, that one's not going to work. And it's almost like they don't have a pulse of what's happening by the customer who is out there who has to spend their money to buy their game. And they're just kind of like, you know, lobbing chances out there like, well, I hope it works. I hope our multi-million-dollar investment works. And my thought is like, if you're investing hundreds of millions of dollars, in the case of GTA 6, billions of dollars into game development, you better be fucking sure your game's going to work and it's going to sell. Like,
Right.
it doesn't make any sense. But in addition to the developer side, we've also seen this divide between Kotaku, Polygon, your Jason Schreiers, your traditional access media, and YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
And the pushback that we've seen this Gamergate 2 happen throughout the year, and one of the or two of the main focal points of this have been Smash JT and Alyssa Mercante, who was formerly at Kotaku. And a couple of months ago, Mercante came out and said she was going to sue several YouTubers for speaking about her. And it turns out it looks like it was just one, and that person is Smash JT. And yesterday, that lawsuit was filed and put out publicly. And this was her tweet over here talking about, how's the lawsuit? Where's the lawsuit? This is Smash kind of asking her about it. And she said it's going great. And then she listed it publicly online so you can go through and find it. Now, there's a little bit of a hubbub about this. This is public information, and Smash JT's address is on that, which there's the argument that that could be considered doxing, but it is public information. It is public information. Is it okay to do that? I mean, it is public, but the thing about her lawsuit is that it redacts her address in it, but it puts his in there, right? So it's kind of like one of those where like, okay, fuckface, you want to play dirty? All right, let's play dirty. And as pointed out here in this my Smash says my address is listed on this document, and she posted publicly, and that was dox me and my family, putting us in danger. Also, Interesting how she feels unsafe posting her own address in a legal document, but didn't have a problem including mine and sharing the document publicly to her legion of followers who actively hate me. And you can see right here, listed here, the plaintiff Alyssa Mercante, is a resident of state of New York and County of Kings. Alyssa Mercante's address is redacted herein due to threats made against her on the basis of the lawsuit. But such information will be revealed in the court in camera. I don't really know what that means, but she may be served with any process throughout her counsel of record identified below. So, and he says it's definitely a calculated move. Let's go and start there, right? Let's talk about the divide between YouTubers and and your traditional access media. This, for me, this is a very important case. Like, I was talking to Blabs about this before, and she's like, this just seems like people squabbling. And I think this is a much bigger issue. But I'll get to my thoughts in a second. RGT, what are your thoughts?
Well, there's a lot to unpack with this, obviously. As far as, we'll start with the split and then kind of go into the other stuff. As far as the split is concerned, I think it's been there for a while, because if you look, places like Kotaku, IGN, Polygon, all the standard websites, they've always done, stuff with articles on bigger YouTubers, this, that, or the other, trying to stir up situations. But once again, I think it's more pronounced now than it's been, in the past 5 to 10 years, because I almost feel like, you're starting to see, for better or worse, you're almost starting to see a rise of personalities again in writing, because for a long time, there were no personalities in writing. But now these people are starting to create their own personalities. And, I don't think that some of them realize kind of what that actually entails. When you're just writing stuff, it's a little bit different than being on camera every single day. You have to, they're two different worlds. You have to have a personality, you have to have an angle on something, you have to have a reason to sort of be on camera. Whereas if you're a writer, it's more anonymous. Now, as far as this whole situation is concerned between these two, I have known Smash JT probably longer than most YouTubers. I first met him, Jesus Christ, 2017. And we had this is when he was just doing mostly gaming content, and he did a video with myself and somebody else because he had some interesting information. And Smash, we've had our ups and downs. We've we're cool now. He'll hit me up sometimes or whatever, and I'm fine with him. But we've definitely had ups and downs. There was a time where he was attacking me for my content and said, well, who wants to watch this bullshit? And it became like this, whole sort of thing. So I kind of, I think both individuals just went at each other's throats, and I'm surprised that a lawsuit came from this sort of situation, because I don't know how well it's going to hold up, because really, if you look at it, it's a he said, she said situation. You know what I'm saying? It's like, right. Well, Smash said this about me, but Alyssa said this about me. Like, you're not exactly an innocent angel in all of this. Like, there's lots of things, and Smash, I believe, has a lawyer already and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how this does play out. But at the same time, it's like, you wanted to be the villain, and now that you became the villain, you got mad that people, started talking about you as far as Alyssa was concerned. Like,
right.
If I were to go after every single person who said, I want to kill you, you're a piece of shit, makes videos about me, calls me a meth head, even though I guess I'm a meth head who just likes to sleep a lot. Like, if anything, in my party days, I was a downer person. Give me the downers, please, so I can fall asleep. Like, that would consume all of my time. You can't by and it works kind of on both sides by playing into it. and by paying so much attention to it, it kind of spurns the other person on. And when you look at, Smash's content, he's obviously, and this is a conversation that I've had with him before, where I've told him, like, if you find a lane, ride that lane. If you want to, have YouTube be a good source of income for you or something, you got to ride the lane. And I think he's been doing that. Obviously his content is vastly different than it was like a year ago or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's almost like, I think they both, deep down inside, I think they both like the attention to some degree, because it gives you something to talk about. It keeps your name out there. It makes you the story. You're not a side character in the story. You are the story. And now we're seeing kind of one person's reaction to getting all of this attention, and it happens to be a lawsuit. To me, it's like, if I'm in an active lawsuit, I'm not talking about that shit online.
Right.
But,
there's been a lot that's been discovered just based off this lawsuit being filed. Well, let me kind of give you my thoughts on
Sure.
this and why I think this is actually much more important than kind of a couple people squabbling at each other. This is a situation that could set, and I feel like this precedent has been set already, but in the event that a YouTuber or whoever, right, anybody is critical of anybody else online, the resolution could be a lawsuit. So it could set a very dangerous precedent. She's asking for $75,000 in this situation. Right. She's like, hey, he's made $75,000, and how does she know that? She doesn't know, right?
But she's Social Blade,
right?
Look,
we know confirmed that she herself has said she doesn't have any money, right? She's broke, and she's looking for the arbitrary number of $75,000, right? But what this does, if she was to be successful for suing Smash, which for the record, I don't think that she will be. I think this is going to blow up in her face. But if she was to be successful in this situation, it could set a horrible precedent in saying that, let's say we are talking about a developer or somebody in the media, right? We're talking about Jason Schreier. We're talking about GTA 6. They don't like what we're saying. They say, well, hey, that's defamatory towards our product, towards me, towards my outlet. We're going to sue you because of that, which that's the precedent that could be set in this situation.
Criticism becomes classified as hate speech.
Bingo. And that's very, very dangerous. So this is something that, like I said, I think this is going to be rejected half court. But the fact that she's going through with this is amazing. And I do think that the end goal for this, and I DM'd this to Smash and I put this publicly, I think that he should countersue. And then I think he should sue Kotaku because he's been labeled, we've been labeled, istphobe, bigot, whatever, right?
Oh, she's gone after me.
Of course.
I've seen people would send me the tweets, and I'm like, okay.
It's dangerous for sure. But the one thing that we found out about this was she said, this was posted November 7th, that she had left her job. She had left her job at Kotaku, and this was like the big deal. And we remember there was layoffs this day too, where they let go of a couple people. And she said, "Work news: after 2 years, I've decided to leave Kotaku as my role of senior editor. I'm eternally grateful of Kotaku's editorial team. Blah 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 blah. Some of the best moments of my career. It's been a long few months. I learned a lot about myself. This is the right decision for me." Okay, so she framed it as, I'm the one who left, and this decision was made before the layoffs, but now I'm even more glad I made it. Well, that, according to her own lawsuit, is not the case, as ultimately based on the actions of Smash JT, multiple persons contacted Geo Media to complain about anti-Semitism from Mercante for appearing with Hassan Piker. Under pressure from Geo Media in the wake of this harassment campaign, Mercante agreed to resign her position at Kotaku. And this is them talking about Smash JT talking about her streaming and her support of Piker, which led to people accusing Mercante of anti-Semitism.
But wouldn't that be Destiny's fault?
Well, I don't
Promoted the
know.
commentary by streamer Destiny. Like, no disrespect to Smash, but I think Destiny is a little bigger. You know, that's a bigger
Sure.
fish.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
you know, they're not the only one. That Asmongold guy did the same thing.
Right. But this line here, 211, directly flies in the face of 151. 211 says, as a direct and proximate result of Smash JT's unlawful harassment, Alyssa Mercante lost her job and had her contract bought out by her now former employer. That's a lot different than what's said right here of her resigning her position. Those two are vastly different things. You can't resign and also get bought out and also lose your job. So, you know, lies, lies, and more lies.
It'll be interesting to see how all those things hold up.
Right.
Because I don't know, maybe she thinks it's a surefire case, but I sure as hell don't.
I don't think so either. Just to dig a little bit further into this, Smash posted this. We talked about her lawyers and says Alyssa Mercante's lawyer is this guy. And this was something that he posted. It says the lawyer involved with Pokemon Halo series claims anti-woke gamers says his job was to purge them. Trust and safety departments exist to get assholes out of the gaming environment. That's the lawyer. This is what they do. And this is back from March of this year. So,
do they win anything?
No. No.
They take that retainer fee money. They're like, thank you.
Right. And Legal Mindset, who's been on the show before, says, I understand advocating for a client, but this is clearly meritless and purely meant to punish someone she perceives as an ideological opponent. Unfortunately, activist lawyers are legion, speaking as a lawyer himself. There was also something that was interesting in response to Smash talking about their lawyer. This post right here from American Nerd says, we need to fix this. The legacy media control isn't just breaching trust in the political and human rights sections of journalism. It has a stranglehold on American culture and the video games industry. You don't have to go far, but IGN and Kotaku to see this is true. They are marginalizing conservatives, aka anti-woke content creators, for a long time. Look at Asmongold, Dr. Disrespect, Smash JT, Grums, all of them are consistently being attacked for their viewpoint because it doesn't align with the quote woke narrative. We need this fixed, and we need to protect and support other conservative commentators. Said, I'm not even conservative. That's the craziest thing about this is which is amazing. I know Grums isn't. I don't know about Dr. Disrespect, and I just by watching Asmongold, I don't think he is either. But
well, Dr. Disrespect was pro BLM, so we know for sure he's not conservative.
Right. Says we shouldn't feel ashamed to express our voices, and that's the big thing. Like nobody should be ashamed to express their voices, and we should do this without retaliation. Anyways, and Dr. Disrespect actually responded to that, just saying, "Yep." So, like I said, I think this is a much bigger issue than just an activist that used to work in the gaming space going after a YouTuber because they said things that they don't like about it. I think this is a very, very dangerous, slippery slope. That we're getting on right here. So, but do you have anything to close on that before we go to this last little bit?
I mean, I guess, obviously you don't want the lawsuit to be successful because, that opens a Pandora's box to, what's deemed as criticism and what's not. Like, I think a lot of journalists, they're not used to very vocal criticism. If you're a YouTuber, if you got your start in YouTube or you kind of blew up on YouTube, you kind of get used to the criticism. You get used to people on Reddit saying you're a piece of shit, this, that, or the other. I feel like that whole world has always been kind of immune to criticism. And now that it's happening, they don't know how to react. And
I think you nailed it.
And this is why they constantly engage with these with people that are critics of them, and how this whole thing sort of spirals out of control.
Man, I think you really hit it. You had people who have been immune to criticism or just been living in a bubble, and for the first time they're receiving criticism. And it always goes back to that fucking trophy generation or the toxic positivity. The idea that,
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, it's all, hey, you're the best. You're so good at everything. Just want to let you know. Oh,
I mean, that's why we're
know.
seeing issues with the game industry. I mean, Concord literally failed according to these same journalists because of the toxic positivity culture within the company. Like I think, and this might not be a popular thing for some of the viewers in the chat or whatever, but I think toxic positivity and toxic negativity are two sides of the same coin, and they're both shit. Like you have to be nuanced with things. You have to look at things on a case by case basis. And when you don't, and you just get into these toxic positive or toxic negative mindsets, like it kills any sort of nuance. And then people who want to be nuanced feel like, oh, well, I don't, who's listening to me because of how, social media plays out and these bubbles that end up getting created and stuff like that.